We're ready to go.
That's kind of what we just were saying.
I thought that was the gist of it, but
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
wrong.
Right. I was just waiting for an interruption, as usual.
I can't believe Robin has been so quiet.
It's
Oh,
weird.
hold on.
Hold up.
Hold on.
All right, now go.
Right, I'm going
Now
now.
go.
No going back.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all are listening to the Overseas Connection podcast.
Shut up and sit down.
Here we go!
Would you kindly? I think we're just getting started. Medic! I'm a witcher.
I think this is more than you can handle.
Sits on his ass all day.
Let's do this.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and happy Easter. You are listening to the Overseas Connection podcast. It's episode 523. Today is April 21st, 2019. We are a weekly gaming podcast, so if you are not familiar with us, we're not going to really impart any real knowledge on you. Likely, a lot of what we're going to talk about is pretty much out of our butt. But we like having fun. We like talking about video games, and we like to think of ourselves as a little bit more mature, but that's not really the case.
Not gonna happen.
If you need to know, we do broadcast every week, Sundays, 1 p.m. on the West Coast, 4 p.m. on the East Coast, 3 p.m. Central Time, and way over across the pond in the UK, we broadcast at 9 p.m. in the UK. So there you go. You can count on it like clockwork, I swear to God. We are on Twitch TV. We are on Mixer.com. We are on YouTube.com. All you have to do is throw in / OC Podcast. It will get you to our spot, and you can watch us live. Of course, you can always also listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, someplace where you have an audio podcast. We put out our podcast almost immediately after we broadcast, like within the next day. So everything we talk about is still going to be relevant. Just saying. All right. Without further ado, let me introduce some people. My name, Greg DeLacy. Gamertag, Murphy's Law, OC_Murphy's Law on Twitter. Spinning the decks for us tonight, manning the machine, behind the machine, underneath the table, around the corner, is Mr. Mark Wright.
Hello, Greg. Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm spinning my decks once again. Yep.
Yes. Thank you for doing that.
No worries.
We talked briefly about me doing it, and that would have been a disaster.
Well, you've got the
Indeed.
equipment, but you still haven't said it.
I know.
You haven't taken it out of the box, have you?
I stare at it every day. It's kind of.
He's got the equipment, just not
It's
the,
actually sad.
not
Yeah.
the know-how.
Yeah,
Yeah.
typical manner.
Yep, you got to take it out of the box to use it. Also on the podcast today, Miss Kim Woods. Kim.
Hi, that's me. I'm GamerGirl27 on Xbox. That's Twitter. Some strange variation on PlayStation. But anyway.
All right. And last but certainly not least, sporting the lovely curtains, Mr. Robin Tate.
Hey, hi, hello there. It's Robin Tate here. I am at Bongo the Sea, and I am in Northern Ireland and Ballymena. And James May lent me this shirt, and I do take my equipment out of the box.
That is a James May ass T-shirt. Or
Thank you
shirt.
very
Yes.
much. Shirt. It has
Yes,
collar.
shirt.
Yes.
Collared
Say, it
shirt.
looks like
Yes.
something my grandmother would wear. I'm just saying.
Also, have you seen James
Well,
May? He might look
she
like your
gave me
grandmother.
Probably did.
When I left that T-shirt there, I went to see your grandmother, and she gave me this shirt because I had no top on. You see?
Yeah.
But in the
There you
family,
go.
that's what.
Shit. Oh, God.
Thanks for being on the show, Robin.
Here's no.
Hey, we want to give a shout out real fast. Super Paul and Rise Warlord. Thanks for following us on Twitch. We do appreciate that. And obviously, if you are watching us and you think, hey, maybe I should follow these people, go for it. Do it. Give us a like. Give us a follow. Do all of that kind of good stuff. No big birthdays as of today, but we certainly want to say happy Easter and, of course, celebrating Easter in however you do it.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, some thoughts and prayers go out to those people in Sri Lanka.
Absolutely.
Bad stuff happening out that way.
Mm-hmm.
Hate to
Yeah.
hear about it, but we will press on. Let's talk about some more positive things right now. Shifting gears. Mark, let's do some story time.
Oh, shit.
No story time.
Thank you.
Hey!
story time. Hooray, it's story time. I'm so glad to be with you today.
I was too busy doing
Strike!
Getting James May's shirts on screen.
Strike one.
Strike one. Strike. All right. Let's talk about what's been going on this past week. I'm going to lead off. I was in Las Vegas over the weekend. That was my big whoop-to-do. We decided to do a little extended weekend trip. We had a Vegas trip that on the surface was going to be fantastic. Probably the worst vacation I've ever taken. And my wife would back this up. It was absolutely brutal. It started with us missing our flight.
Yes.
It was just a series of events that led to us missing the flight. No particular place where I could say that was what made us late. To be perfectly honest, I mean, it was Starbucks took forever. The buses from the parking lot to pick us up and take us to the airport terminal took forever. We literally got passed by 3 different buses that were full and were taking on passengers. And then, of course, once the bus got there, because we had Colin in his chair, that took longer. Then TSA, they decided that they had to not only screen Colin's medicines, but they had to wipe down his chair. They had to make sure there were no bomb-making materials inside his chair someplace. So,
oh dear! All the times for Colin to start talking, he first words out of his mouth is Allah Akbar. Going
I know.
TSA.
Infidel.
Oh, yeah.
What would be worse, having Tourette's? Not just shouting fuck, but shouting Fidel. Sorry.
Yeah. So it was. Needless to say, we missed it by 1 minute. That was I think the worst part. And then we were just stuck at the airport for a long period of time before we were able to actually get on another flight to get us to Vegas. So by the time we got to Vegas, then turns out the hotel we were staying at used to be nice back when I first was out in Vegas. Now it's been trash. So if you ever go to Vegas and you think I'll stay at Harrah's because it's in the middle of the strip, it's across the street from Caesars, blah blah blah, don't do it. Don't do it. It's a dump now. So just those kinds of things just kept piling up. And then there was a number of other things, but I'm not going to bore you guys because I mean this story literally would take a half hour just to describe. But needless to say, we both looked at one another as we got off the plane after the trip, and we just said, yeah, worst trip ever. So
I'm sorry to hear that. Vegas is such a fun week, you know.
It should have been. It should have been. And also I will say this though, it's not very conducive to family and especially special needs family.
No, I wouldn't think it.
Yeah. So that we learned a hard lesson with as well. But that aside, something positive to talk about. I did start watching a series on, I believe it's Netflix that I caught it on, called Bodyguard, which I had started to watch a little bit of it, and then I stopped for whatever reason, like mid-episode on the first episode, and came back to it finally. Really good show. It's about basically I want to say the Secret Service. Is that what they call them over in the UK? Sort of
MI5 sort of thing.
Yeah.
Personal was it personal protection PP.
Personal Protection
PPO,
Service.
Anyway, PPO
so
or
it's
Personal
about
Protection Officer.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Secret Service in the U.S., but basically, security team. This gentleman is assigned to, oh God, what the heck's her position in the UK?
Secretary of State or something. I don't know.
Something like that. Yeah.
Similar to that. It's anyway. It's really good. It's about this weird relationship that starts forming between the two of them. And she's a very cold person when he first meets her. He also has some background issues of his own.
Yeah, he got killed in the Red Wedding.
Yeah. That's definitely part of it.
Well, can I say, Greg, keep watching because
I am. It's been good.
Just like a bit like Game of Thrones. Don't get too used to anybody. So that was first released over here about a year ago. So it's getting through Netflix now. So yeah, it is. It's very twisty turny sort of series. So but yeah, a good watch.
Yep.
Good
Highly
watch.
recommend. So if you see it, check it out. Bodyguard. And with that said, Mark, let's talk about you out in the sun.
Yeah, we've had some glorious weather for Easter bank holiday weekend. So yeah, been out and about doing a lot of walks and that with the family and the little doggy. So yeah, it's been wonderful. It's been nice. Bit of exercise, a lot of sun. Burnt
How's the
solar
backyard?
panel. It's all right. Yeah, I've cut the grass in the back. It was like a jungle. But I had Guns N' Roses playing "Welcome to the Jungle" in my headphones. Yeah, it's all done now. It was knackering. So it's quite a big back garden, and it was.
You're one of those.
quite
Do
thick.
you keep your front yard the same way though? Do you have grass in the front yard? I don't know.
Yeah, but it's only a small lawn. I've got that to do tomorrow.
All right.
I've
Is
done
that
that.
also really tall?
It is now, yeah.
God, I was getting after you. You're the neighbor I don't want.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have a couple neighbors like that, and it just looks like their front yard has been taken over by the jungle, and I just go by and I want to like put a sign.
Yeah, there's a nice sort of like yellow tinge to it with all the dandelions.
That's not good, Mark.
No,
That's
I know,
not.
I know.
Dandelions, by the way, for those that don't know, is code word for weed.
But they're
Yeah.
pretty weeds.
Yeah, but
Yeah, you would
nice
you would
yellow
drive me
colour.
insane, Mark. Yeah, I was out.
All right,
I was out with
mine's just about as bad. So
I was out with the leaf blower yesterday or Friday evening, blowing the little stones off the driveway, so it was completely smooth. So
Yep.
there you go. Oh well. Yes, the weather has been fantastic, and we've had a big party weekend, so the weather has been perfect for us. There's been 2 big bouncy castles here. A big assault course, a big bouncy castle. It was Wee Jazz's first birthday with us, so
Right.
not that she would know it, but we had a mega party here yesterday. There was almost 40 people around the house, tons and tons of kids, lots for them to do. Judith had pushed the boat out big style. I mean, we had craft table, we had somewhere to plant and sunflowers in the little pots. There was just so many.
She looked, based on the pictures, like she was in her element.
Yo, she was loving it, loving it. So yeah, we had a fantastic day yesterday, and the weather's just been super duper. So we had a real ball. It was good time. And I have had so much crap. I just fell off the wagon today and yesterday. But what the heck? I'll
to be
make up.
expected. Yeah.
Yeah, up for it. And well, this morning Judith and the crew went out to church, and no Glenn. Glenn's away for a respite for this weekend, so I went out for my run. No ties, but I'm like 2 miles into the run. I just a short run this morning, and coming down to the house, and my frigging calf starts to tighten again. So I've been hobbling around. I stopped completely and walked the rest of the way in, but
Do
I
you
would be-
stretch before you run?
I was 2 miles in, Greg.
No, I get that, but do you stretch before you run?
Yeah, a little, but not enough. I used to be when I was doing all my running and all the stuff like that. I would just go out gently for the first mile and then start to pile it on. But I'm older now, so I'm
So
going
we've
to have to
heard.
start.
So if
So I'm going to have to start. I am going to have to start stretching a little bit before I go out. But yeah, it's a pain in the frigging backside because I'm really enjoying my running again. So bollocks.
I've been really cognizant of stretching before I get my morning runs in. Not just my quads, but also my calves. Ironically, and that's a carryover. So I ruptured my Achilles tendon way back when, and so I've always been kind of cognizant of that now. So I do a lot of stretching for my calves, but also water. Water is gonna also help with that.
Yeah. I mean, I never again marathons, half marathons, tons, loads of them, going back 8-10 years, and never ever had any trouble. So I hope this is not going to be something recurring. Anyway, yeah.
Break
So
out
on this
the
week,
bike. Break out the bike.
Judith, no, frig, that's crap. I love being able to run. I can go for a, my short run before when I was running a lot was a quick 5 mile run.
Right.
Now at this moment in time, it's quick, like 2 or 3 miles, just a wee loop. Great stuff. And I like that because even when I was doing a 5 mile run, I was done in 40 minutes, showered, and then with an hour 15, I was away again. And here now it's 3/4 of an hour, quick 2 mile run, into the shower, done, and I'm finished. And the heart rate is elevated. It's doing all the right things. I'm getting, so that's what I like about running. Where bike, you gotta spend a lot more time on the bike to get
Right.
that stuff done, and yes, it's a time thing for me. So
No, that's fair. That's fair. I can totally get on that.
Hey, Mark, you're married a lot longer than me, aren't you? How many years is it now?
This June will be our 26th anniversary. 26 years.
22 this week.
Wow.
Oh.
22, 26.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think we're coming up on our 11th. So we don't have the timing that you guys do, and that's okay.
That's all right. Yeah. Just look at the state of us compared to you.
No, come on.
Week a good time, and the little spring lambs are popping around all around Arlene. I'm sure Kim has this too. Lots of wee young critters. But yeah, up and down, and they're bouncing around all over the place. So
yeah,
cool.
My last day at work last week, on the Tuesday, I had to drive up to Settle Station, which is in North Yorkshire, beautiful part of the country, and all the spring lambs were out then. Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah,
Mint
I'm
sauce.
pretty sure the badger around your house, Robin, is thinking lunch, dinner, breakfast. Yep.
You bastards.
Kim.
Heartless.
Yeah.
Kim, you posted one of the most adorable little quick videos I have ever seen in my life. Let's talk about this. Yeah. What was going on near your house?
All right. Little backstory. I here last summer about 2:00 in the morning. I had a fox that had been running around here, and at 2:00 that morning, he had decided to camp out my bedroom window that was open and sit there and yelp or whatever the hell it is foxes do. And at 2:00 in the morning, when you're not sure what the hell it is, that's a little scary. So anyway, fast forward to now. Right. Fast forward to now. Yesterday, I went out to feed the horse in the lot, and as I went to put the bucket of feed over to feed the horse, I saw a fox turn around and yelp and run off, and I thought, okay. That's not real strange because we've been seeing them off and on. So I went around the barn, and I thought I'd see if I could get a look at her. And I did, and she took off. Well, I sat there and I waited, 5 minutes. And about 5 minutes, this little fox comes trotting out and comes around the tree. And I'm sitting there, and I'm kind of clucking at it a little bit to see if I can get him to stop. So he sits there, and he stops, and he takes off.
Sorry, example of clucking, please.
Yes.
No, that's all right. Anyway, like that. So, anyways, I'm sitting there. After he runs off, he comes back, and he brings 4 of his siblings out with him. And they sit there, and there's trees and grass, and they're just rolling around wrestling with each other. And it's the cutest fucking thing I think I've ever seen. So, I have 5 foxes, little foxes, and then 2 bigger foxes running around my house now. So, well, not in my house, but you know what I mean.
It wouldn't surprise me.
I know, right? I asked Dad if I could keep him, but I don't know. He's less enthused about this than I am, but I figure, heck,
today was the wrong day to ask your dad about anything.
Today really was the wrong day to ask Dad. Anyway.
Did he get the lawnmower fixed?
No, my brother ended up putting his lawnmower down, and he mowed our yard for us. So, yes, that is in a real foul mood because the Roku box, the remote wouldn't work, so he was mad at that too. Yeah. I'm lucky it didn't go flying across the house.
I liked how you sent a tweet out to the whole of your area, warning people, anyone in Arundel, just watch out if you hear this noise.
Yeah. When he gets mad and he starts cussing, oh yeah, you can hear it just for fucking miles. I'm surprised I didn't get phone calls. So yeah, he was not in a good mood. But yes, I have foxes, and I guess on the same note as babies, I'm on baby watch. My sister should be having. I think they're gonna take her baby anytime now. She's having some issues, and he's actually not supposed to be here till the 10th of May, but they said that they might take him like the last 2 weeks of April. So anytime now.
Holy crap, your siblings and relations are popping them out like flipping nobody's business.
Well, they've got to keep up because I ain't doing it. So, so yeah.
Famous last words, Kim. Famous last words.
No, that's all right. I'm good.
You're gonna find Thor.
Right, yeah, that's gonna
She's gonna lock him in a basement and he's never getting out again.
Put a gag on him.
You've seen Misery, right? Yeah, you've seen that film Misery.
He puts on the lotion.
God, Misery, that brings back some memories, man.
Oh, dear.
It's not that bad, but geez.
I think that's the most horrific scene I have ever seen in a movie that you weren't really expecting that. Even now.
Up there. And the fact that it was her, just this, what you appear, you look at her and you just think, okay, mild mannered older woman, maybe just a super fan, love struck, and then she's just like, we're gonna.
It's funny that came
yeah.
up this week because Jason Johnson on Twitter was I don't know why, but he was looking to for suggestions of films that were about writers, and Misery came up, and and people were being very serious about the sort of things that they're suggesting, and I suggested Throw Mama from the Train, which is I thought that was quite relevant as well.
I think it is.
The night is sultry. Yeah. Anyway,
All
Jason, our resident writer.
Yes. Anything else, by the way, before we move on, folks?
Yeah, I've got
No,
something
that's
else.
for me.
What?
Game of Thrones, man. Started last week.
We're
Yeah.
not talking about Game of Thrones.
No, it's
other
yeah, we
than the
are.
fact that
And
you
it's on
watched
again
it.
tonight, stroke tomorrow.
Yeah.
It was
It
awesome. It
is.
was really good.
I did it. I made the effort, like Mark, and we watched the first episode.
I was shocked when Godzilla came in.
Yeah.
But
So,
John
okay, well,
Marston were a good addition to the cast.
I watched the first episode, and it was definitely an episode of
Yeah.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it was
It
good,
did surprise
It's,
me.
the
I think-
non-spoiler.
From Mark, if I'm right, for all these years they've used the same titles.
Yeah, but no, well, sort of. But they keep changing. Do you know the little pop-up villages and towns
Yeah.
and cities? They're all different
Those-
every season.
Yeah.
Which I really like. I like watching that, and I love the theme
Now, I
music.
did see a cracking version of that for the NFL season this year. Did you see this? Maybe you can bring it up
I
on
think I saw
YouTube.
it, yeah.
So this was all going around lots of the teams, but the state, in the start of the Game of Thrones, the little cardboard pop-ups,
Right.
clockworky things. But instead of that, key stadiums were the pop-up-y things.
Interesting. All right.
So I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. So yeah,
I know.
that was original.
Well,
That was a book
so
right
far,
there.
I mean, I've stayed away from spoilers. I do intend on watching the first episode tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I'll watch the second episode, hopefully maybe tonight as well. But I've managed to stay away from
Enjoy.
spoilers so far.
Enjoy it. I'm not going to spoil
will.
it. I'm not going to say a word.
right.
Enjoy.
Hey, let's talk about some games.
Ootay.
Fuck. Shit, games?
What then?
Yeah,
That aren't Thrones?
games.
Today
No,
I
not games.
feel like playing computer games. Today I feel like playing computer games.
It just is Stanley, Fraser's son. It just is. I know it's not, but it just
It
is.
sounds like, isn't it?
I guess it does kind of sound like him, doesn't it?
Mm.
Yeah. Without the sass.
Yeah. You do it this
All
way.
right.
You do
Yes.
it that way. This is how you do it.
Bless him.
All right. This, I'm just gonna have you guys talk about this now because this makes me sad.
What?
What was?
Mark, you and Robin have been playing a particular game.
Mm.
All right.
Oh.
Okay, for the last 2 weeks solid, in my waking, breathing hours, I have been playing and thinking crazily about Minecraft.
Ooh,
We
baby.
touched on this last week. We've started a Minecraft realm for the OC podcast.
That's
Phil
relevant
is
for
heading
normal
it.
people.
Phil is heading it up, and again, I thought, yeah, my time had done, and this is kiddie stuff, but there's been so much added to it, and I'm right back in there again. Now, I will say that even my crazy spending all my time at it is nothing compared to what the rest of the crew are at. I mean, I'm loving what I'm doing. I'm obsessed with my shaft and my railways and my big
Shocker.
hole,
In your big
which I'll
castle.
get
Not a
into.
surprise, by the way.
Yeah.
Which I'll get
Right.
into in a second or two. But my level of skill and the knowledge and details of the things that they brew and make and know the inner workings, I'm still using the same tools that I always did. I haven't really changed anything. Redstone is used to power rails. That's as far and fancy as I get. These guys here, some of the stuff that they've made. I went on a railway that that Mark has made out into the ocean and the sea to this village, it took about fucking 15 minutes from one end to the other.
Yeah.
Not only is that impressive, the most impressive thing is where he gets the resources. You have to dig all of the ores to build the reel.
The iron
do all
and
that.
that, yeah.
It's just unbelievable, the time and effort.
Well, there were two of us. Me and my nephew's been sort of like pooling resources. Yeah.
Minecraft controller today. No matter what you do as far as video games are concerned, you go balls deep, unbelievably, by 1,000% in. It's unbelievable.
Well, I needed an extra controller because my original Xbox One X controller Jason uses all the time, and it's getting a bit worn because he hammers it. And this was 20 quid off, so I got one of these.
Ooh!
Wow,
The
look at
creeper
you.
one, yeah. And it's a Bluetooth one that connects to the PC, so. Yeah.
So the stuff that I've been doing, I've been, my house is only still a cube, just a box, somewhere to stay. Really nothing fancy. But I've been obsessed with my railway, and I came across the very first day I was playing it, this unbelievably deep chasm, right? And I've got my railway going to it, and then these glass tiles and it's sort of a maze, so you have to tiptoe across it, single line, single block, and then if you fall down, you're dead. Yeah. Okay, so that
because there's lava and everything at the bottom as well. It is really high.
Really, so it's about like 80 blocks of Minecraft straight down. Now I've made a bypass with the railway now, and I've made a little station area into this is Bongo chasm. But inside this chasm, I found this hole. And it's a hole, and it's down to lava and water, again about 50 or 60 blocks down, really, really far away down. And today, I finished off my leap of faith in the chasm. And the idea is you jump into the hole and fall all the way down through this crack, like wingsuit job, all the way down, and land at the bottom. And maybe just miss the rocks and the lava by millimeters. And I don't know. These new? Is the scaffolding new now, Mark?
It is for me. Yeah, I've not seen that before. Yeah.
So at the bottom, the scaffolding acts as a lift, like an elevator.
Yeah.
So you get into my scaffolding, you hold the button, and it takes you all the way up to the top. For those people that are frightened of it, I've got a little bed there. You can sleep just to save your point, and a little chest to put your stuff in before you jump out of the leap of faith. So that's that. So you go there. If you go to the main red square area where these guys have built all their unbelievable houses and bits and pieces, and so many people now involved in it, you'll get my coordinates there. But there's a railway which will take you all the way to that stop there now. So, and there's plenty of free little carts. I'm having a ball. But what's nice about it is, this afternoon I was sitting out in the sun in a little shaded nook outside in the fire pit area of the house where there's a wee bit of shade there. And I had the iPad Pro out and my controller, and I was playing out in the sun for a couple of hours today. So I've been playing it on my iPad, and it's the same thing, where I just pick up where I left off in the Xbox, and did a wee bit tonight just before I came out here. And I love the cross-platform play. It is seamless. Now, Duke would say that the Windows 10 version is much, much better, but you know what? So what? This is cool. This is fun, and seeing the stuff. I mean, Mark, you've built this. What is it? Big lighthouse. I was up it today. I went up the house today. Yep.
Yeah, I've got this like oldie worldy house. What I built originally. Then I built a workshop at the sides which keeps all my anvil and my enchanting table and everything. And then because I'm on the sort of like the coast with a beachfront, there was this like this sandy island just off to out in the ocean. So I built a massive lighthouse on there now. So it looks really cool. But yeah, I've played with enchantments now. Enchantment. And because we've got the mobs on this weekend, I've been able to get some XP. Because you need XP to do the enchanting. So I've enchanted my sword on my armor and my.
What that means?
I found the village, and then under the village is a stronghold. And there's a library in there, and there were some enchanted books. So one book was for Respiration 3. So you mix that with a helmet on your anvil. it combines a book into the helmet and enchants it. And now when I wear that helmet, I can stay underwater 3 times longer than what I normally could. So I've got an unbreaking spell on my pickaxe, so it lasts longer. I've got frost.
Mark, just when you're talking about underwater, where are the little extra beds?
I'm with you, Kim. I'm with you.
Where my little bed
Your
is.
pickaxe lasts a little bit longer, Mark.
Yeah.
That's good.
At the leap of faith,
Yeah.
I've made that little room where the little bed is. It's all underwater, so
Right.
it's all glass, a big glass wall, so you can watch the fish. You can lie in bed and
Yeah.
watch the fish in this little calming room.
Yeah.
It's just the level of detail and intricacy. Like you have to get the floor just the right color or the right materials. And
Yeah.
I mean,
There's
who
carpet
has the
something now,
disco
isn't it?
fever room?
Yeah.
The disco fever room.
Blue Baru, yeah, is done like
Blue Baru.
patchwork because you can make carpet now in this out of wool, carpet squares, and it's got all multicoloured. It's just when you look at it, you go whoa, and it makes you go dizzy. Like 70s discotheque flooring.
I don't know.
I haven't
It's
connected
relax-
my Elgato up yet, but I'm gonna get some
God.
footage of this for one of the streams. I'll get the footage of it, and I'll do a video as well for YouTube, like I did with the 360 World. But yeah, there's some awesome stuff. Duke's got a nice little.
I will watch it at bedtime.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. Okay. Duke's got a nice little animal farm going, which is rampacked full of animals, and he's got his East Timor
Cool.
flag above. Blue Baru's behind him with his multicoloured discotheque floor, which makes you vomit. Caliburn M's just joined recently, and he's got a huge tower already.
Arms.
I've heard about him.
Yeah, I think he's compensated for something. So,
All right, so let's curtail the Minecraft. We could talk about this forever and a day. And
I
honestly,
know I
I
went
don't
nuts
care.
on the entertainers. I spoke about it for ages, and they didn't stop me. You see,
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I'm putting a kibosh on it. Okay, Minecraft, it's a thing still.
Yeah,
Apparently
it's
still
a new
really
release.
good.
New release, and it's really
Yep.
good. It's only just come out.
I will say this: the dungeon add-on they're going to be bringing, which is like a kind
Is
of a
that a
D&D kind of
BDSM
adventuring. Shush. That has me somewhat curious, but honestly, I'm still pissed off that Parsnip suckered me into buying this game. I played it all of 10 minutes, and I just can't be bothered. Sorry. It's up there with Fortnite for me. Not
Did you
quite as
have
bad.
Lego? Did you have Lego as a kid?
I did.
See, did you play with Lego as a kid a lot? See,
really.
I did.
I liked
I
my
mean-
Star Wars figures better.
Yeah. See, we were lovely people from the UK. We didn't get those very much. Yeah. But yeah, like I don't know. It just captures something of imagination and there's so many different ways to play it. You can be really creative building, or you can go
I
out and
acknowledge
adventuring.
it is a fantastic game. I do acknowledge that. I just also am going to acknowledge we're not going to spend more than 10 minutes talking about this game now. Mark,
Yes.
what is Munter Hunter? Talk to me about this. What exactly is this?
Oh, you ugly bitch.
Oh God, you said this. You're gonna make me cough now. Monster Hunter World.
Right,
This is the latest addition to Game Pass, but I like to call it Munster Hunter. So I've played the introduction to it. Straight away, you could tell this is fucking Japanese.
Oh, yeah.
It's so fucking convoluted and complicated.
Yeah.
There's lots of cutscenes and everything, and it's a nice introduction. And it takes you a while before you have your first fight with some monsters. The controls are a bit
Weird.
Japanese.
Yeah.
It takes some getting
Yeah.
used to. But yeah, I'm liking it so far. I
It
think you
seems
need-
like a
it's-
game that would scratch that itch that you. I mean,
Yeah.
you do
I
like,
the
kind of the
loot
loot.
stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But I think this is definitely more aimed at playing co-op. I think you need to play this co-op.
Yep.
So I need to get on with you guys, really.
Yeah, I think it downloaded to my Xbox automatically.
when I
That's
downloaded it.
Yeah. So maybe we can get a party together and relish in our gigantic swords.
Yeah, that was. I thought, I'll pick a katana because the first guy you meet with a sword, it's like this humongous sword on his back, like bigger than him. I thought I'll pick a katana because that will look stupid.
Yes.
No, the fucking katana's as big as a bloody sword.
I know. It
makes no
is. It is always my issue with
Yeah.
with any Japanese RPG. I don't know what it is. They love putting gigantic swords in that
Yeah.
these puny little nothings. And I
Yeah.
say this as the characters typically in these Japanese RPGs could never actually lift these swords in real life.
Yeah.
It is physically impossible for them to lift these swords.
The one thing what I do like the Japanese side of it is I created a female character with,
I knew
with
you would.
No,
very
yeah.
little clothing, and
Yeah.
she's hot stuff, man. She's
Like I
hot
said,
stuff.
hot pants and knee pads.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
pretty much all it
she's got
consists
like
of.
Yeah.
a bikini top and hot pants, and yeah.
Pants and
I-
knee pads.
It was heart wrenching. We had to put armor on her and cover her up. So yeah, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Mark, how much time did you actually spend creating your character versus actually playing the game? What's the ratio
Not as
there?
long as you in Division 2. Not long. I just did a random thing till I saw a nice chick I liked. Took all the clothes off and then met with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's got a nice ass.
All right.
A model human being.
She's definitely not a munter in the Munter Hunter world.
Yeah, the Munter Hunter, by the way, just referencing this was a typo that your phone like somehow.
No, it wasn't a type. No, I
No,
definitely.
Oh,
wasn't
you
a
did
typo.
type this.
Yeah,
oh, I
Munter,
thought it was a typo.
Munter is English
God.
slang for an ugly lady.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Here, speaking of munters, did you did you see Did you see that YouTube link that I put up for the remake of the original Tomb Raider?
Yeah. That
I-
was
Wow.
incredible.
No.
That looks absolutely fantastic. Small team has completely give it the control up-res treatment, and it
Yeah.
looked fabulous.
I remember
The
playing that first one on my a really old like a Pentium 1 PC, and I bought when the 3D graphics cards first came out. It was a Voodoo Voodoo FX3 or something. Remember them?
Yeah.
Solid state
Yeah.
graphics card. It used to click when it went over into 3D, and then she had the like triangular pointy boobs and that. But it looks good. Yeah, I remember
But
that.
the triangular pointy boobs look good. Tell me you
Oh.
didn't try and look up her skirt or up her shorts. Tell me you
No.
didn't try and do that. The edge
No.
of a cliff.
No,
Please.
He
no,
can't. He
no, I
can't.
don't go
He
that
can't.
far. No,
No, he did. He did. Just admit it.
no.
You're a dude. You did.
I might have. But yeah, go on, carry on.
Ooh, a lady listener. I still remember that to this day.
Oh, Sharon, yeah. Sharon's a lady. Nope, it's a man.
Kim.
Yes.
I know you've been making your way through Red Dead Redemption. It's not really what I want to hear you talk about, though. There is another game on your list here, which surprises me. I did not know you were picking this up or even going to attempt it. So let's talk about
Surprise!
Trials. I know.
Yeah, right. Well, I had a $10. I've been doing the Bing rewards thing, so I had a $10 Xbox card, and I saw you guys doing the challenge thing, and it seemed fun. I hadn't really played Trials before, and I thought, can't be that bad, right? Well, you know, and it's not really bad. It definitely takes some getting used to because I'm used to the, you hit the gas and it does its thing. But with this, it's totally different. I mean, you've got to land right, and I mean, if you don't do something right, you're fucked. I mean, there's no,
Yeah.
I mean, there's no just flipping the bike back over and going again. It's just you might as well start over. So
Well, and that's the best part about this game is the restart is so instantaneous.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, just to put this in perspective, a lot of these challenges of late, where we've been, we have a community challenge where we're all competing against one another. I literally know within the first probably 5 seconds of a start if I got a good start or not, and I just instantly restart. It drives me nuts, and yet it is so satisfying just to be able to know I could just get back into it so quickly.
Yep.
So.
Oh, it's terrible because this morning I was on the one we're doing now. I thought, well, I'll try to get a better time. I didn't do too bad the first time, but I thought I'll try to do it. I kid you not. I had to hit the restart button so damn much, and I'm like, okay, one more time. 10 times later, and an hour later, and Dad's out there working on the lawnmower, and I'm thinking, I got to get off this thing because if I don't, he's gonna come in after being pissed off about working on the lawnmower. Like, what are
You
you
do
doing?
get into a zone with it. I have
you
weaned myself off it over the last 2 weeks. I haven't posted time because and that too. But you just do get into a zone, and and it almost takes 5 minutes or 10 minutes to get warmed up.
Yeah.
I made a huge mistake this afternoon. I went on to I've got a bit of a rivalry with Peachin, and he posted a time, so I went on at 6:30ish, and it took me ages, but I finally beat him by a fraction of a second. and I posted it in the WhatsApp group. What I should have
You
done was
posted it like within seconds of having beaten his time.
Yeah, and what I should have done was posted it at 7 p.m. when the competition closes. Next thing I know, I get an alert on my Xbox. Pete, Village and he's online. I think, oh fuck, he's online. He's gonna try. And yeah, sure enough, with 6 minutes to go, he beat my time.
I'm gonna get you, sucker.
Yeah. So,
the big ginger got ya.
Yeah, I'll learn from my mistakes. I won't do that again. I even I even sent him loads of Xbox Live messages trying to put him off. Saying, have you beat it yet? How are you doing? Are these messages putting you off?
No, it takes months to read those, Mark. Unfortunately, as I've learned. I thanked him. I got a thank you from him about a week or 2 weeks ago. When I sent him a message, when he was hosting on the show. There was one night he was hosting on the show. Yeah. That's months ago. Yeah. It was about a week or 2 weeks ago. He went, "Oh yeah, just seen that message now. Thanks." Yeah, no problem. It said like, "Thanks very much. You were great." So
he's just joined the chat as well. Yeah, you ginger bastard.
Oh goodness. Go on.
One of the things you can do, Kim, and this is for anybody getting into trials. If you're wanting to get better, what you can do is when you go to the leaderboards, you can go to look at your friends if you want. If you're competing in the kind of the scenario that we're doing, you can select somebody's name, and you can watch the replay of their time that they posted, so you can see what they did to do it, and obviously that should help you. Assuming it's a better time.
You can also race against.
You can also race against. Yeah, you can race against them specifically.
Yeah, that's what I did.
So, yep.
We'll have to do that.
So
Stop Womble.
Yeah, it is. Womble posted some great times, but Luis Raimondo, he posted a tremendous time.
Right, that was one I kept trying to beat. No luck.
Yeah, I'll go through it later on, obviously with the results. But we have got a new contender, and he's doing really well as well.
Yeah, that pissed me off.
Yeah, Greg said
because I like to think of myself. I've been posting some really good times in this game, but not good enough, and now not good enough times 3, which really pisses me off. I was just happy I beat Martin, so there's that.
Isn't it so pissy? That you find your limitations. This is. I thought I was good at video games. This is as good as I am gonna get. This. Bastard's better than me by 30%. What? Am I not capable? I don't know what it is.
That was me this morning. After trying it so many times, I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna get any better than the time I already had. So fuck it.
You were so close.
See what you do, Kim, is
you were 11th
you got to pick somebody near you, not necessarily the number 1 person, and try to beat that person.
Yeah, you do.
And then once you start beating that person, then you pick somebody slightly higher than you, and you just up yourself up the ladder. So. Anyway, fantastic stuff. We will talk about that in just a little bit for sure. But love to see that, Kim, you've jumped into the fray.
Of course.
I wish for you had jumped into the fray a little earlier.
I know.
Because we're going to start getting into. I think we're still on easy tracks, but they're increasingly going to start getting tougher as we start going along. Which is where I will fall off as well. Let's see. I guess we're talking about my game. So Trials, obviously. PUBG, I threw in PUBG, played a quick round of PUBG. I still love that game.
I noticed there's been an update for that.
Yeah, there has been an update for it. I mean, it's just more kind of fixes, but they defaulted the control scheme again. So, you'll have to shift that around. And then I started playing Technomancer, which is one of the free Xbox Live Gold games. I fired it up. I had been curious about this game before, and it got kind of middling scores in the 7s, the 6 to 7 range out of 10. And it is it's a sci-fi, futuristic setting where you play a role as a technomancer, which basically you have kind of magical powers, for lack of a better way to describe it. So you're able to do certain things, and you're part of this elite force that is basically there to kind of, I'll say, keep the peace, for lack of a better way to put it. The start of this game had a lot more story content than I expected. I for some reason was thinking it was going to be real light on story, and it was just going to be about kind of going out and grinding a lot. There certainly is some of the grinding to it, but there's far more story to this game than I really thought. There was a lot of cutscenes in the beginning, and I just was watching for a good 5 to 10 minutes, which again didn't expect. And I'm liking what I'm playing so far. It's not great. The controls are a
look
little
fabulous. But...
No, it doesn't look fabulous. It just kind of scratches a little bit of that itch, and so, like I said, it deserved. I think
what
the scores.
What itch is that, Greg? That you wanted to be a technomancer? What?
Yeah, a little bit.
What was that?
Just that sci-fi kind of. Yeah, I mean, in a sense, kind of what I was actually wanting to get from. I was going to say Andromeda, but what the hell, the BioWare game that just came out? Anthem. Kind of scratching some of that itch of having that sci-fi RPG but story. And Anthem, just unfortunately for me, lacks the story. And so... Man,
yeah, well, that makes a lot more sense than you wanted to be a magician or something like that. So, yeah, okay, I can buy that.
I do want to be a magician, too, though. That's
okay. Look into my eyes.
I can make this disappear.
Yeah, I can see it. Wipe it clean, will you?
I didn't realize when this was announced for Games of Gold that it's actually an RPG. This, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ruckabucka.
Yep. Action RPG is probably the best way to describe it.
Yeah. A bit like a Mass Effect sort of thing.
Yes, very much.
And
so.
were Trials like a puzzle platformer?
Yep.
Yeah.
Puzzle platformer. It's a thing.
Puzzle platforming racer.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let us move on. Let's dive into the news. We don't have a quiz this week. I don't think one came in. I will double check while we're getting ready, but we might as well jump into the news first, regardless.
All right. Okay.
Here is the fucking news.
All right. So a lot of news this past week. Some big news, some not so big news, some rumors and things of that nature. But anyway, let's dive into it. The big headline component of the week of news was an article that came out of nowhere. I mean, nobody knew this was being done, but I think it was Tuesday morning. An article from Wired came out, and it was an interview with Mark Cerny talking about the next PlayStation in detail. And so basically, Sony gave an exclusive interview to Wired magazine, and Mark Cerny sat down in a room and just basically talked about the new PlayStation and some of what's going to be in it. Not a lot of detail in one aspect of it, but enough that had people buzzing. So what we know from the article, and I'm just going to highlight kind of some of the bullet points. The console is not coming out this year, so that ended all the speculation. But still people were speculating. Oh, it might come out in the holiday time. No, it's not coming out this year. Dev kits are coming out. They've actually shipped some, but they said more dev kits are now coming out into the wild. This actually is, I think, why Sony actually did this interview, to be perfectly honest. I think they knew dev kits were going out to third-party game makers, and that likely the leaks were going to start happening. So might as well get out in front of it. Also, I think they very much wanted to get this out ahead of E3 so they could steal some of the thunder of what might be announced at E3 from their competitors. The CPU is going to be based on the third generation AMD Ryzen line, and it contains 8 cores of the company's new 7 nanometer Zen 2 micro architecture. So this is a real step up from Jaguar. So that's very good. The GPU is a custom variant of the Radeon's Navi family. So again, some of this is going over a lot of us and even my head. But I know that these are all basically pretty cutting edge. They're not
even your head. Your head. So us lesser mortals here, no, there's no way we were ever going to stand it. It goes over your head. Oh, yeah. You don't even think about us because there's no way we could fucking understand it. Oh. Definitely, but you should. Right.
You should. Until the day you can say film right.
Hey, I like the way he says film. That's
fine.
Yeah,
don't ever tell Robin I said that. Okay. It's going to support ray tracing. So this is basically a technique that has been widely talked about as the next thing. It basically allows light to travel around objects realistically.
Rayman?
Yeah, totally. He also said that there's going to be a custom audio chip inside for 3D audio. And then the big thing, and quite honestly, the biggest piece of information that came out of this is that the console will have a custom SSD drive inside. Talked about that they had a proprietary kind of version of an SSD drive, and then he gave a demo to kind of show off what this could do. And they used Spider-Man, and they showed it loading on a PS4 Pro, which took 15 seconds. And then he showed, how it would load on a dev kit, and it was 0.8 seconds. So
I don't think I'll ever buy a standard mechanical hard drive ever again.
The industry is definitely moving towards SSD drives.
What
they didn't
size
talk
drive
about it.
did they say?
They did not say, but I have to think they're going to be going to a terabyte.
Yeah.
I
But
cannot
even
see
that's
them
not
go
enough, is it?
I know,
Not
but
really.
it doesn't matter.
No, but I mean,
Yeah, but
if
you
it's
can
a
add on,
terabyte,
But if you buy an
Terabyte
add-on one,
was-
you're going to buy a mechanical, aren't you? Because it's cheaper.
potentially.
yeah, but the SSD drives will start to come down in price as more and more people get involved with them.
Mm-hmm.
That's true, and I think that is speculation. Also, is by this time this comes out, it's going to be 2020. SSD drives should be more affordable at that point as well.
And it'll be clearer. It'll be 2020,
Yeah. But also, I believe, at least the speculation is on the SSD drive. I totally ignored what you said, Robin.
Surprise.
I guess is using NVMe technology.
Oh, yeah.
Basically is slotting into the PCI board.
Yeah.
So they're speculating this is what Sony is doing, even though Sony did not explicitly say any of this. So that's
Very
the
good.
PlayStation as we know it.
Huh.
Any
Yeah.
thoughts? I know it's over your head, Robin, but I mean, I just,
I don't understand. I understand the first bit, which was the console's not coming out this year. After that,
It all went to hell.
I started to drool a little bit and stuff like that there.
Eyes glazed over,
And so I said nodded and said yes, especially when you said Navi. Yes, my old sat nav in the car was a Navi. I thought there we go, and I could make that Navi sound like a chipmunk or like Homer Simpson. So if it does that, I can't. I'll be first in line for it. When the PlayStation 5 starts up, sounds like a chipmunk or turn left or woohoo, we got there. Homer Simpson. I'm gonna buy one.
how great would that
But if
be?
it doesn't, no.
Forget it.
Yeah.
Are you guys excited by what you're hearing? I mean, does this excite you for the next generation? This is a very safe console so far. They're talking about a traditional console. They said it would have a disk drive, by the way. So this sounds just like an upgrade off the PS4.
Yeah.
Yep.
As opposed to, Google, which is, 100% streaming, no hardware involved. The rumor is that Microsoft is going to have some kind of hybrid between, what they're talking about at least is kind of traditional console, but also cloud technology streaming stuff. So this feels like a very safe lane for Sony.
Do you know what? There's nothing wrong with PS4, and graphically and the game wise, it's a powerhouse. So if they just iterate on that, spot on. I think they're gonna. This is the first of the fizz. They're gonna need a lot more fizz there as well. Now they can rest on their laurels because they're ahead of the game right now. But the Microsoft guys mightn't have all the power, but they've definitely got a lot of the features and the nice stuff and the freebies and the Game Pass and all that sort of stuff all together. And really, have bought all those dev houses, and I would expect them wanting to see some results over the next 2 to 3 years of big games to combat the exclusives of the Last of Us and all of those things that have been out there. So don't rest on your laurels too much, PlayStation. And I'm sure this is the start of it. This is the start of the big fizz. So
yeah, for sure, it's the start of it. I mean, this was,
but I've nothing negative to say about that.
No, and I think we are going to hear more from Sony. Likely, maybe Paris Game Week they'll come back and talk about more again, we don't expect to hear anything from them during E3. So it's really going to be, at some point later in the year, I imagine they will talk about PlayStation again.
Yeah.
But this at least gets it out there, gets the conversation started.
Backwards compatibility. That's all I'm
Oh,
gonna
yeah,
say.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right, Kim. Thank you for mentioning that.
This
Backwards
will have,
compatibility.
yeah, this will have
Yeah.
PS4 backwards compatibility, won't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
It better.
and that it's important to note this. So it is.
Mhm.
They didn't say how they were going to be doing the PlayStation backwards compatibility. In the past, PlayStation has done backwards compatibility from a hardware perspective by actually embedding
Adding a
old
chip
hardware.
on the board, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they're doing that this time.
Well, I don't think they need to because they're all using the PC architecture now, aren't
Yeah, so I think this is just going to basically be able to say that your PlayStation 5 can run your PS4 game, as it was originally created. It's a bit like your PC. If you buy a new PC, it can still run a game that you had on your previous year's PC. Likely, it's going to be the same kind of scenario.
Mhm.
I was surprised, or I will be curious to hear if they did in fact come up with a true emulation path for PS3 games, because that still is kind of the missing component to all of this. They have PlayStation Now to do backwards compatibility on the PS3, even though I'd argue the backwards compatibility part of that. It's really a service that allows you to play PS3 games. It's not really backwards compatibility. But there were rumors that Sony had come up with a solution to this.
Wow.
We'll see.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Very good. We can bring
Yeah.
it on. Can't wait. Next year is going to be a big, interesting year.
All right.
It
Well,
will.
so we've got some hardware news to talk about. Inside Xbox took place last week, and they confirmed the rumored Xbox One S all digital edition.
Sad.
Um,
The sad
probably
edition.
Worst naming convention
Yeah.
ever. I don't get it. They should have just called it the Xbox One Digital Edition. Leave out the all. That would have been perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But no, they somehow thought adding all would make this better. So much like we had the Xbox Bone or the X Bone early on,
Now you got a sad
you'll be
bone.
hearing Xbox Sad. Yeah, you've got the Sad box. So this is a digital
Why the
edition.
hell did they not friggin' see that?
I know.
Fire the marketing people immediately.
I know. So I mean, the real revelation. There was actually a pretty funny little commercial that went with this reveal, but basically they took out the drive. The Blu-ray drive is gone from the Xbox One S all digital edition. God, that's hard to say. I'm just gonna call it the SAD. They took
There you go.
the Blu-ray drive out of the SAD, and they put a blank cover on the front of the box. It is such a small tweak to this box. They even still have the eject button. If you remove that faceplate, you will see the eject button on the hardware.
But Mr.
I think
Tricky,
this-
they should have made this smaller.
Well, no. See, here's the thing. I think this is just they have inventory of Xbox One S,
Yeah.
and they say, you know what? Let's experiment around a little bit, see if there's traction for a digital-only box. So we can make this small tweak. It's not going to cost us anything really to do this. The manufacturing is basically the same.
We've run out of Blu-ray drives.
Done.
Let's see if we can sell this without it.
Also true.
Yeah.
So the good news is it weighs 1 pound less.
That's
Apparently
be
that
handy
Blu-ray-
when
And
carrying it
also,
around.
just going back to the
Right.
Blu-ray, Sony have the rights to Blu-ray, don't they? So they have to, every time they put a Blu-ray drive in something, Sony get a cut. So is this a big?
Well,
two fingers
Sony
to
is Sony's part of the Blu-ray coalition, I believe it's
coalition,
called.
yeah.
So they're consortium or something like that. So they do have, they get royalties off of that along with a few other organizations. But so you're not going to have to worry about paying the Blu-ray licensing fee. It does come with 3 free games or games included in there. The first one, which is a bit of a head scratcher, but I think I get it. It's Forza Horizon 3. Then you have Sea of Thieves and Minecraft. Speaking of Minecraft, that we're talking about
Oh,
there.
boy.
I'm buying them now.
So this feels like a box for families. First off, that's one thing that comes to mind.
Yeah.
It also comes with a 3-month Game Pass, subscription, so you get Game Pass. So I think that's why they didn't include Forza Horizon 4 because you're going to get that with
Yeah.
Game Pass.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's games on it. It costs $250, which, that's the manufacturer's suggested retail price. That's $50 cheaper than the current manufacturer's suggested retail price of $299 for the Xbox One S. But let's be honest, we've seen these cheaper everywhere. Microsoft did make a point in the introduction to say that they would always make the SAD edition $50 cheaper than the Xbox One S.
Sad Xbone.
Standard.
Yeah, I think in the UK they'll be picking this up for about 170 quid, somewhere in there. You know,
Yeah.
100 and, yeah. Here, look,
by holiday it'll be $199.
I've heard people pissing on this within the community. Chris MJW pissing on this, going, "Oh, why would I do this?" And because discs are cheaper, and why would I ever do this if I was going to buy an Xbox and blah. And this is not for you, Chris. This is for me. This is for me with 3 or 4 kids and an Xbox in each room.
Yeah.
You know, it's not for you. Christ, if you want to go to the smelly shop and buy cheap discs, buy one with a slot in it. You'll probably be buying a second-hand Xbox One anyway to do that. So just don't, this is good, but it's not meant for you. It's meant for extra Xboxes in the house and being able to share the games around there. So, yeah, I think, you know what? I am not in the market for another one right now. I've got 2 Xboxes around the house. Don't need any more. But for that family that's switched on and savvy, and I actually don't think it's for the family that isn't switched on at all.
No.
So,
Yeah,
but you know what?
I said this on there. I were on Entertainer this week, and we were on about this, and I said exactly the same. This is for a second room, a second console to go with your main console, or for your kids. It is marketed at.
I haven't had a disc in one of my machines in fucking must be a year.
No, I've only got 2 Xbox One discs.
On my big screen,
and one of them were present. So.
On my big screen, we use it for Now TV, Netflix, Amazon, YouTube. All on the big screen in there. So that's I could have one of these right now.
Look, I will tell you. This serves 2 purposes. So one, obviously, it is the experimentation of a digital-only box to see if there is some gravitas for that. But secondly, and this is actually, I think, the bigger plan, is look, they're launching it at $250 right now. I guarantee right now, stake my flag in the ground, come holiday, this will be $199 or cheaper on holiday sales, Black Friday, and they're getting themselves a box that can get them sub 200, and that, if you remember, was kind of the holy grail price point for PlayStation back in the day, even the Xbox 360. It was always trying to race to get it down to that $199 level, because then it becomes an impulse buy
from $199.
Yep, that's where they want to get this to. And so this, by getting the drive out of this box, they're getting themselves closer to being able to get that to that price point.
Whatever happened to that thing that people talked about, you being able to buy an Xbox One, like a rental phone thing? Like, remember that? There was talk about that?
Yeah. The lease to buy kind of thing. It's still going, as far as I know, through the Microsoft stores. I think that offer's still there. You can finance it for like 12 months at 0% interest. So there's still that option as well. I think Microsoft has definitely played around a little bit with options. And again, it's options. So anyway, speaking of options, one other thing that did get announced, amongst other things, and there was a lot of backwards compatibility titles that got announced, by the way. Fable 2 and 3 got announced with Xbox One X enhancements. All of the Splinter Cell games, Double Agent, Conviction, Blacklist, all 3 of those also were announced backwards compatible with the Xbox One X enhancements to them as well. So I'm kind of excited for that. I'm pissed I don't have Blacklist digitally right now. I may pick that up, by the way, Mark, sometime in the future on sale. One of my favorite games of all time. So anyway, they also announced Game Pass Ultimate. So just like the rumor mill was swirling about, saying they were finally going to be combining the Xbox Live Gold and Game Pass subscriptions, they did this. So it's now you have the option of doing Game Pass Ultimate, which is $14.99 monthly. So it's a bit cheaper versus having all of these services by themselves when you kind of price it out comparatively. But it hasn't officially launched yet. So they talked about it. They're going to be bringing it out in beta.
Interesting to see what the yearly rate's going to be.
I would guess just take that $15 times it by 12.
Yeah.
Well,
Yearly rate's gonna be.
on the Xbox 2 podcast, they were talking about this, and you only save if you currently pay monthly for your Xbox Live and your Game Pass. If you pay annually, it's not cheaper. If you pay for your Xbox Live and your Game Pass annually, then this so much a month isn't cheaper than an annual purchase.
Maybe,
so they'd have to do
will.
They'd have to do a cheaper purchase for a year's supply of it.
There is talk that you will be able to roll your existing services into it. So if you have, say, Xbox Live Gold paid out for a couple, months or year, whatever, but that all has yet to be seen. To be perfectly honest, they have not officially rolled it out yet. Other than they talked about it, it is coming. It'll be sometime later this year, 2019, that we will see that. So
yeah, it makes sense. It does make it's good because it's a good service, and to tie the two things in. Because it seems like at the moment it looks like they're even though it might be a little bit dear, it looks, and again they up the price not so long ago there as well, but it looks like they're taking 2 bites of the cherry at the moment.
Yeah, and I think they want to get away from that. I think they want to ultimately get out of Xbox Live Gold and fully get people into Game Pass. Speaking of things that actually no, it's not even related to Game Pass.
No,
Halo.
Good try.
Halo. I know. The Halo TV series. So that we talked about it, I think a couple months back. It was going to be on Showtime. Well, they finally have cast who is going to be playing Master Chief. So I think most people might know him from American Gods. It's Pablo Schreiber. I'm not terribly familiar with him, but apparently he is going to be Master Chief. Apparently he's a big guy, about 6'5", fairly well built, so he should fit the mold for Master Chief fairly well, even though technically 5 inches shorter than what Master Chief would be. But you're not going to see that on screen. Come on. It also will star newcomer Yurin Ha as Quan Ah, a teen from the colonies who meets Master Chief as at a fateful time.
What a pissy name! Say it again.
Quan Ah.
You said Urine.
Oh, well, that's the first name. Yurin Ha is playing Quan Ah. There you go. The ship is being produced by Stephen Kane from The Last Ship fame, and also Kyle Kylan from Awake, which I've never seen Awake, but I have seen The Last Ship. So I'm still positive on this.
There's been some crappy stuff there, but I think all of us will maybe admit that there is a good TV series in the Halo brand somewhere.
There's definitely a good TV. There's a good movie to be made in the Halo brand. TV series, movie. They just have to. They have to give it the right budget and the right director.
I'm sort of thinking Battlestar Galactica. That sort of gritty sci-fi would work for Halo-ish.
I think that would work actually really well.
Yeah. So
the remake, mind you, not the original.
But again, the thing that we put in the chat group about yes, the remake, not the original. Yes, is that Master Chief doesn't take his helmet off. So does it matter if this guy Pablo Schreiber, because that's already, is this going to be made by the Assassin's Creed movie by a video game fan who is precious about the Halo franchise, or a movie maker who knows a little bit about Halo?
So here's the thing, though. Master Chief does take his helmet off. It's just you've never seen him with his helmet off. You see, I think there's one shot where
right. The lights
he's
were
putting
always
his
off.
helmet off. Yeah, they always, lights are always off. They're always at a weird angle. You never see his face. And obviously that's the mystique of trying to let the player feel like they're Master Chief. But
and he's ugly, probably. Just saying.
Okay. And there's that. Anyway, so I anticipate he will take his helmet off. I can't.
Yeah, well, as well as that, if you follow the lore correctly, he always sounds like this mid-40s, maybe even early 50s sort of guy. sort of
Right.
Gears of War-ish. But if you follow the lore, he's actually very, very young.
Mhm.
He's a very,
Yeah.
he's early 20s sort of thing, and that mightn't have the same gravitas.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if they one of the things maybe they talk about, or they maybe there's some kind of microphone for the helmet itself that actually gives him a little bit of a deeper sound. Maybe that's how they can explain that away. I don't know.
Well, he smokes 40 a day as well, but you never see that.
I was out fighting the Covenant again. All right.
A bit like Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yes.
What's this one? What's this one?
Capcom, out of nowhere, announced a new console. So Capcom announced a new plug-and-play system. This is the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. So the console is their logo.
Yeah,
The picture I
that
have
looks
in our
really
chat.
cool, that, yeah.
But if you look at the size of it, it's two joysticks meant to be played by two. You do two-player co-op, but it's barely bigger than your lap. So there's no way you're gonna get this thing. I don't know how you actually
It'd have
play
to be on a
co-op
table,
with anybody.
wouldn't
Right. But then even then, it's like you're gonna be at a weird angle trying to share this small freaking logo.
Like an arcade cabinet years ago. Yeah.
But smaller. but smaller. Anyway, so it includes 16 games. It's powered by
They're not great
USB.
either.
Yeah, it connects to your TV via HDMI. Apparently, it has Wi-Fi on board as well. The games that are included, just to go run through them real fast: 1944, The Loop Master, Alien vs. Predator, Armored Warriors, Capcom Sports Club, Captain Commando, Cyberbots, Darkstalkers, Eco Fighters, Final Fight,
Love
Ghouls and Ghosts,
Love that as well.
Gigawing, Mega Man: The Power Battle, Pro Gear, Street Fighter 2, Hyper Fighting,
Love that.
Strider, and Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo.
Yeah.
They
there any
want
price point?
$250. They
What?
want $250 for this.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, piss off.
For me, there'd only be
Yeah.
3 games I'd play, so it's far too much for that. If they'd have said
Do you know
80 quid, I'd have had that.
Yeah, 80 quid, I'll have it on my wall. Probably
Yeah.
never play it, but I'll put it up on my wall. So
It does have, though, I will say this. From a collector's standpoint, I could see
Yeah.
this being something to pick up.
And it's
I'll
got a
definitely
proper
pick one up,
fighting
but
sticks,
I'll wait.
hasn't it?
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. This news story got GTA 6 showed up on a Rockstar artist resume. I don't know who added this story in. Somebody? Bueller?
Not Gilbert?
Anybody?
Nope.
Robin?
Okay. I don't know who added it in, but somebody added it in. Anyway, over the
did.
GTA. Okay.
3 days later.
Actually, Robin, why don't you run through this real quickly? I'm going to take.
yeah, it was actually when I switched on the computer, it popped up a wee thing from PC Gamer, and whether it's true or not, nobody knows. It was on the resume, like LinkedIn, I suppose, of an artist, a junior vehicle artist at Rockstar Games, and the description of their work was create vehicles matching the real world for GTA 5, DLC, and the upcoming GTA 6. No surprise to anybody that there's a new Grand Theft Auto coming. And funny enough, the artist resume no longer mentions that he works with Rockstar any longer. So yeah. But again, there's no surprise that it's coming, but just that's maybe the first of it actually appearing on someone's profile. Oh, fair play to them. Where did your man go?
I have no idea.
Yeah. Oh.
What's the CGX?
Greg's just disappeared. Well, it's funny. When we were talking about the snooker thing earlier on, it was this story that I came across about EGX, and I had a chat with Greg about it earlier on through the week, and saying about a news story breaking in Variety in Europe, stating from internal sources who are claiming that the tickets for EGX in London this year are being held back from people outside of the UK. It's freaking crazy. It's sort of like almost a sign of like selective racism to foreigners. So if you put in that you're out of the side of the country, you're being refused tickets, which is, again, we brought this up earlier on before the show about racism in gaming and the experiences that people have, and with the new Snooker 19 that's out, where like NFL and all those big games, the best player in the world always ends up on the front cover of the game, where in Snooker 19, the best snooker player in the whole world is not on the front cover. Now, Mark says he's not the prettiest guy in the world, but you know what? They can have some creative photography.
They could have a shot from the back of his head with a cue.
It's crazy, Mark. Have you came across any sort of like stuff like this here that there people are a bit funny about maybe Indian people coming over to EGX or anything like that? No,
I can't see the logic behind it. Because at the end of the day, they're selling the tickets.
I mean, do you guys get a lot of people from like France and stuff that come over, or
not really? Well, mind you,
I mean, maybe is it been going on?
Right, we've been in London, you might, because London is one of the most diverse places I have ever been to. And you get a lot of tourism in London. So, but would them tourists go to an event like this? Probably not. I don't know.
I don't know. It's really just pissed me off
weird.
to no end. And no, honestly, no, Greg, no, just stop. It's pissed me off that people from, especially in this here from the United States, are not welcome at EGX. And I think it really, really is it's ridiculous. And I really don't know what to do. I mean, if you were to show up at EGX, do you think they'd fucking turn you away?
I mean, that's a good question. I would like to think they wouldn't, but I mean, kind of sounds like they
seriously,
might be.
I think they probably fucking would. I would turn you away.
I think, Robin, the solution then is that maybe I should come to EGX.
Fucking right. What?
Yeah.
What?
As in, I'm going to be at EGX.
What? What do you mean? This year? You're coming to EGX in London?
I will be at EGX in London.
EGX is going to build a wall now.
Hell just froze over.
Yeah, no. So, just
coming to London.
Gary Lever's going to be there.
Yeah. No, real story, Mark. So the EGX discrimination thing is complete bollocks. I am going to be in London for EGX this year.
What?
Booked my flight tickets.
Is that why
already.
you said I've got to be on this week, Robin?
Yes.
Absolutely.
I kind of already knew this was going on.
I'm not going to go neither because it's in London.
So let's roll this out.
Let's roll this out.
So
yeah.
Greg is flying. You
flying
story, Greg. You go.
Yeah. So I approached Robin, a couple months back, and I said, look, I have gotten the green light to come out to England, basically, to visit. And I thought, you know what, the perfect time would be to come out at EGX. So then we started trying to figure out, well, how would it work, which way it would go. And so Robin, you were the perfect, you're always the perfect planner. So that's why I came to you secretly behind the scenes. I booked my flight tickets once Robin and I kind of confirmed, but I'm going to come out to Dublin, Ireland first, stay with Robin and his lovely family for a couple of days, then make my way down into London with the Chinmeister taking me a little tour of, as in Mike Chin, not Pete. Sorry, Pete. I may or may not see him. But anyway, so I'm going to spend a couple days just touring London, and then I will finish the weekend out by getting it on at EGX with all of the gamers over in the UK.
And on Saturday night in London, you're going to have an Overseas Connection VG Community Hub special, and we're going to have a big get-together, and Greg will be there helping to host that show. So if you're thinking about coming to EGX, this is the year for VG Hub. Come along, go to the show, EGX, go to the Saturday night do. It's all going to be kicking off between himself, Mike Chen, Greg, everybody there helping in, having fun. Yes, so Greg, congratulations. I cannot wait to spend some time with you here in Ireland. And then I'm kicking you on a plane to London to spend a couple of days with Mike. And then I'll be flying on over and picking you all up again at EGX. And we're going to have a great time.
In fairness, we were going to keep this a secret. I was going to not say anything, yes. But then we realized some people were waffling on whether they wanted to go to EGX or not. So I thought, you know what?
It's not waffling. I can't afford it. It's in London. It's so expensive, hotels and that.
Well,
we'll sort that out after this.
That's why I've been waiting for the Airbnb. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
I
stuff
I
going
have
on.
a bathtub in my room. You can sleep.
Right, okay.
Mark,
Right, I need to buy my
because some of
tickets
this
now.
was up, Mark, because of this stuff has been up in the air, it hasn't really.
Yeah.
We haven't really pinned stuff down, and Mike and I have been chatting in the background as well. We had another little meeting at the gaming event last weekend in Bury.
Sure foot.
So plans are afoot, and then over the next month, I promise you, it'll all come together, and there'll be a package. You can sleep inside my big shaft, room, dark hole, whatever. So yes.
Breaking news: Greg is not coming to EGX now.
So
No,
everybody-
I'm super excited for it.
Yeah, so brilliant.
Yeah, it is my birthday gift from my wife to me. So I'm coming over solo. You've got me in London. I will be in you, as I will Dublin. Yeah.
Brace yourselves.
Oh yeah.
Brace yourselves.
So that's cool. Excellent.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I'm excited. Yeah.
Excuse me. I have to go and pee.
That's exactly what I just did a second ago. Dear God, I was like, I'm dying, and I got to get this off before we get to the EGX stuff.
Oh,
So yeah, Mark, you will
yeah.
see me one way or another.
Right, yeah,
I will
yeah.
make sure we meet.
Yeah,
Don't
absolutely,
worry.
yeah.
You know, we'll figure it all out. But I am super excited to come over and visit.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note, why don't we jump into some new releases? Kim, if you would be so kind. It's a big list.
It's a gigantic list. I may need a drink in between. Your new releases for April 21st through the 28th are Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen for the Switch on the 23rd. Mortal Kombat 11 for the PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC, also on the 23rd. Okay, this is a weird one. Box Boy and Box Girl for the Switch on the 26th.
It's gotta
Robin
be
didn't put
Japanese.
this in, right?
No,
I'm
Greg
just
did
thinking,
these.
does that fit in with
Nope.
Labo? You know, I mean, box, Labo, cardboard. Just saying. Days Gone for the PS4 on the 26th, and Super Meat Boy Forever on the PS4, Xbox One, Switch, PC, iOS, and Android, also on the 26th. And those are your new releases. Box Boy and Box Girl, what the fuck? All right.
Yeah. Dragon's Dogma. That's that's an interesting title for the Switch.
I enjoyed that game. That was good.
I still have to play the game.
Yeah, I played the demo,
Mhm.
and I liked what I played. But then I want to say there was a Dragon Age game that was coming out right around the same time, and it just
Mm-hmm.
took me away from it.
Yep.
But I know Dragon's Dogma is. I forgot well, I would never know his name anyway. He's a Japanese developer, but it was his take on D&D. He wanted to make a D&D game, and that's basically what Dragon's Dogma is. It's a D&D game through. All right, Mark,
Yes.
wash the shock
Are
off
you
the
okay,
face.
Mark?
No.
Yes.
my mind's going. I'm reeling.
Well, let's recenter that energy.
Breathe.
into the Trials
Yeah.
Rising Challenge.
Enhance your inner calm. Feeling.
So we've just had challenge number 7 finished today, which was on Canyon Crash. We've got loads of people taking part now. We've got another new rider this week called Snoogans. He joined via our Facebook group.
Whoa, Snoogans, go for it.
He met Pete Chin at the arcade club in Bury, and they were chatting about it, and then he's joined up.
Excellent.
I'm trying to remember his real name. I'm going to butcher his name. I think it's Richard Wilcox. I think he's on the Facebook group anyway.
I'm just going to call him Cock for right now because
Yeah.
he beat my time.
Yeah, and
Bastard.
yeah, he's good. So, like I said this week,
That is gone.
I made a mistake of beating Pete and then bragging about it early, which has backfired in my face. But I'll go through the top 10. In 10th place, we have Lazarus 217 with 49.797. 9th place, Step J, 49.701. 8th place, Kyle Adams KD 86, 48.825. In 7th place, should have been Chinny, but it's not, it's me with 48.631. In 6th place, the Ginger Bastard beat me, the legit Chinny, 48.288.
Sure.
In fifth place, Martin C. 1984, 47.589. And his main rival, Mr. Greg DeLacy, Murphy's Law, 47.505. Our new rider, Mr. Snoogans, 47.239. Greg's new arch rival.
Yep.
And of course, the last two, the top two people, as usual, is Womble and Playing Skills. So who's got the top spot this week? Is it a role reversal? Yes, it is. In second place is Womble MK3 with 47.178. But in first place is Luis Raimondo Playing Skills with an incredible 46.946.
And where does that put them in the world? Where is that?
They were in the top couple of hundred, weren't they, Greg, or something?
Wow.
So, Nick in the UK, Nick was in the top 100. I think it was 80 something. Just incredible.
Oh, you're a bunch of overachievers.
Yeah.
So a huge congratulations to those guys, especially to Lewis for winning again. I hope Lewis is still keeping up with his leaderboard, his tracking, because that was an ace edition.
It'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, I want to see an update, Lewis. Get it posted. So for next week, because we've finished all the easy tracks now on the US continent, the next lot of tracks are in Europe, and they're a little bit harder. I thought we'd just have a bit of a break in between, and on the map there's an apple at the bottom with skill games, and the first skill game you unlock is the bomb bouncer game. So what you do is you go down this slope on your motorbike, you hit a bomb barrel, you fly off, ragdoll, and then you've got to try aim, ragdoll your character onto the bomb barrels and keep going as far as you can. So that is the challenge for this week. The furthest wins. So, you've got till
Actually, I might be able to
7
do this one.
Yeah.
So.
Everyone's got a chance. So you got till 7 p.m. next Sunday.
All right.
Yeah. So key to this is once you launch from your bike, you will hit one of the the canisters, the blow up canisters.
The red barrel. Yeah.
Yeah, red barrel. Thank you. As you're going, you can use your left stick to either kind of hold yourself back, so you can use a little bit of aiming. It's not total control, but you can guide yourself back towards another red barrel. As long as you keep hitting red barrels, you'll keep going forward down the track. So you can even hit the ground, and your character will ragdoll into another red barrel, and then you'll go further. But eventually, you will just get stuck in the ground. It is comically fun. Okay. I'm pretty happy with my score, my distance. Yeah, so I'll just throw that out there. Shocking. Yeah.
Oh, Greg has length.
Well, the last time
I got some length, baby.
The last time I looked on there, I know Nick had a really good time. Well, length. So yeah, but yeah, that's a challenge. Yeah.
Yep.
So you have the person that has the longest one.
Yeah, the
longest one wins.
Who's got the best length?
Kim,
wins.
I'm secretly hoping you actually beat out everybody.
Right?
That would be so confusing.
Yeah. Kim's gonna try slip a length now.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Good luck, everybody.
Yes. Good luck, everybody. Robin.
Next up is Victory Achieved. Victory Achieved. Not that it's happening that much at the moment because 1, good weather, 2, trials, and 3, Minecraft. But generally, when you finish your games and they get the credits rolling up at the end, funny, is there an end to trials? Because I remember completing the other ones and all of the levels, and you got to the credits at the end of them.
I've never finished one because the last levels get insane. I've never finished one.
Well, when you get to those credits, the end of your game, whether it's on Xbox, PlayStation, whatever it may be on, you take a photograph, a selfie of yourself with those credits in the background, and you tweet that off to @OC_podcast with the hashtag Victory Achieved. What we do for you, we put you into a draw to win money, like Sarah did a few weeks ago, $20 or £15 for a gift card to buy games with. And this week, the people that finished their games, Teflon. It's it's like a step back in time for these couple this week. Teflon Jason, he finished Kirby's Adventures, which was originally released in 1993 on the NES. Wow. And that's cool. But our own Richard Webster, he struggled his way through the original Assassin's Creed, which is well done, Richard. And Gunslinger, he played and finished What Remains of Edith Finch,
Nice.
which is one of those games that we're told we have to play it. I think he thought it was slow at the beginning, but he thought it got really good towards the end, and the stories were very, very good in it. So those 3 people finished their games. They're now entered into a free draw, and that ends at the end of June. So get your entries in, and well done, everybody. And this is for you. Strike 2.
You all have a victory's achieved. Victory's achieved. You have won a victory's achieved.
You may survive to the end of the show, Mark.
Exactly. You are now on thin ice. All right. If you've made it this far, thank you for listening in. Thank you for taking part. I know we've had some shatters. Kim, let's give some shout outs real quack to the shatters.
Alrighty, our shatters. Let's see. We have Apricot Fruit, Commander Root, Community Showcase, RCGC, S1 Faka, I guess, Tide. I know, right? What the hell? And Womble. Let's see. And I got some more that aren't on the list, so hold on a second. Let's see. There was a Vitrude, another TT viewer, Desert Dan 42, the legit Chinny. So yes, we have had some shatters in there today. So
excellent.
Yep, excellent. Thank you very much for listening. And look, we'll be back on next week, 9 p.m. in the UK, 1 p.m. on the West Coast, 4 p.m. on the East Coast, 6 p.m. on Easter Island. Fitting because it's Easter. And of course, 3 p.m. Central Time, 7 a.m. in Australia. Have a cup of coffee and listen to the show. Come on.
Indeed.
Join us. Twitch.tv, Mixer.com, and YouTube.com. Just look up / OC Podcast. Throw it on the end of that. You'll find us. We are on iTunes. We're on Stitcher. We're on YouTube. Give us some reviews. Give us a shout out. We deserve it. Come on.
Do it now.
We have a bunch of clubs. If you haven't figured it out yet, we do like to have community participation. We have a Trials WhatsApp group going on. If you are interested in getting onto the Trials challenge, contact Mark. He will get you into our WhatsApp group at Marcanix on Twitter. Find him. He will hook you up. You could also reach out to me, but Mark's better at these things than I am.
Or if you don't have Twitter, the Overseas Connection Facebook group, you can just
easy for you.
And there's also a Minecraft WhatsApp group going on that's very active as well, to do with the OC Pod Realm. So you can contact any of us and you can be part of that. What's so bad about the way I say Realm?
No, nothing.
Nothing at all. I just had a little furball. We also have other clubs like the OC, the OC Podcast Club on Xbox One, OC Podcast Community on PS4, OC Podcast Group on Steam, and we even have a Discord group. So check us out, find us, come play games. We like having fun. More importantly, we also want this.
You like us, we like you. See where I'm going with this? Follow us on Twitter at OC_podcast. Check us out on Facebook, fb.ocpod.com, or email us, podcast@ocpod.com. We'd love to hear from you.
This is Sparta!
Yes.
Love it. Actually, probably the only good part of that movie. I was not a fan of 300. I was not a fan of 300.
Oh, I loved it.
What the hell, dude? Seriously?
Never watched it. Too many.
Just liked it because they
skirts.
all look like Thor.
You're Thor. I'm Thor. I can't thread.
I think I was turned off by the film style of the color grain that they had on there. Everything was kind of golden and Anyway, all right. Shout outs. Let's go. Kim, give your first shout out to Thor and then proceed.
I want to shout at you guys. It's fun, and I don't know, particularly for some odd reason, this one has been extra fun, even though now I'm going to probably have to explain some weird Twitter messages, but whatever. A shout out to our shatters and our viewers and everything else. You're the reason we do this thing. And a shout out to Mother Nature, who finally got her head out of her ass, and it's like 80 degrees outside right now. So, hello, shorts weather. So,
yes.
About damn time.
Do you like the shorts weather? Speaking of shorts weather, Robin.
Yeah, I am going to eat lots of unfertilized chocolate eggs. I'm going to get one of my unfertilized chocolate eggs. I'm going to take it out to my whipped ice cream machine, which is just behind me in at front here, which I've got a whipped ice cream machine for my work. And I'm going to fill a Easter egg full of my whipped cream,
So glad.
baby.
You just-
No. Thank you for the weather. Thank you. Great news about Greg coming to London and coming to Ireland. We look forward to more about that. More stuff about the VG Networky party night. So if you're coming to EGX, get a ticket for at least Saturday. So great to speak to you. It's great to podcast. I'm going to play some Minecraft now. See, and I'm not working in the morning. What time is it? Yep. I'm going to play a bit of Minecraft. So you want to jump on and come down my big shaft or jump into my hole, you're more than welcome.
Tempting. Telling you.
Mark.
I want to shout out Robin's Huge Shaft.
Yay!
I want to shout out Kyle and Pete on the Entertainers podcast. They had me on for the second week in a row because Kyle is on his jollies, but he's back. He's back next week. Yeah. The stick out we're getting whore, tart, and
Munter.
Yeah. But yeah, it was really good. I got to talk about Minecraft uninterrupted. They didn't stop me. Yeah. And I got to watch Good Will Hunting, which I'd never seen before, and we talked about that, and it was a really good movie. Yeah,
That's a very good movie.
Yeah. How do you like them apples? And I also want to shout, I want to shout out Phil for yesterday's OCD&D session. Obviously, Kim and Greg. Rich, where the hell were you? We needed you. We had some goblins to fight. We needed the lizard
Right in your
face
pocket.
slithery bugger. So yeah, it was really good. So the audio version is going to be coming out soon. So that was great. Over to you, Greg.
All right. Well, thank you to the three of you for having a session today. That was fun. Thanks to everybody listening. Obviously, as Kim noted, we really do value your participation. It is a community thing, so it's all good there. A shout out to Ken, our cab driver in Las Vegas. He actually had a special needs cab, so we literally could roll Colin right up into the back of his cab. It was awesome.
Nice.
And he was an awesome cab driver as well. And a shout out to Jeff Prince, who was the manager of the Treasure Island Casino, which was the second casino we ended up going to after we decided to leave the first shitbag, Harrah's. He hooked us up with a suite. Literally hooked us up. I cannot.
Lovely.
Yeah, it was awesome. So that was the positive that came out of that. Anyway, all right, that's it. London, I'm excited. Ireland, I'm also excited.
Look out, London will not be safe.
Yeah. Robin, I'm going to give you some things to look up because there's some things that we need to find in Ireland, particularly a castle.
Which one?
I need to find. It's my namesake, so it's the Lacey. I think. I don't know the actual name of it. I have to find it.
It's fucking 6 hours away.
I know.
You're going to see the Dark Hedges for a start, which is just up the road from us. You're going to see Winterfell. You're going to see where they make Game of Thrones.
Are you near the Giant's Causeway, Robin?
Yeah.
You know what I am going to see?
I want to see that.
The site of the St. Patrick's Day Massacre.
On that note,
fire it up.
Are we going?
Yeah.
Seconds. Yes, of course. Sorry. God. Jesus Christ. Bastard.
All right. Yeah. Oh, I thought you meant. Oh God, I thought you meant one of the atrocities. Not Jesus Christ. Oh yeah.
Badger.
Yeah, Badgergate.
And the look on his face, like.
I know. I don't understand.
Be careful. This is Northern Ireland.
Yeah, I know. There was someone got shot last week, wasn't there? Yeah, that's what That's what I thought he meant.
Oh, all right. Yes, Mark. On that note, let's go ahead and get out of here.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Overseas Connection podcast. See you same time next week.